a whole fucking 12-minute video without my mic even being connected. It's not the first time I've done this shit. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, I'm gonna go over a trade recap for October 15th. It is currently 12:12. I'm up hustling. I hope everyone else is also hustling. But basically today we had a loss and then a W as well. So what happened? So what was I looking for? So originally I saw that we had swept all of these highs during pre-market, and then once market open, I was waiting for either a sweep even higher, just to sweep out these highs right here, or just a impulsive move to the downside and then retracement back into it. So sure enough, that's what happened. Oops. So sure enough, that's what happened. Impulsive move to the downside, retracement. I took it in. This was gonna be my first take profit. Got very close and then started to reject. I got pretty good at controlling my emotions when it comes to trading, and I think if you talk to me about if I had this trade about, I don't know, let's just say 5 months ago, dude, I would have been fucking tweaking. I probably would have closed my position way too early, not sticking to my stop loss. So I've definitely gotten so much better at actually sticking to my stop loss and not fucking around with it, not getting emotional, not worrying about it for the money. Besides the point, we got swapped. This was 1000% a liquidity raid, and I'm not the only person that fucked up doing this. TGR did the exact same thing. He actually had his stop loss a little bit lower. I had mine above these highs right here. So at that point, I was like, okay, we are destined for a downside move. We had swept all of these pre-market high, post-market and pre-market highs, and at that point we had a stop loss raid, and I was like, okay, this is like just destined for a downside move. Instantly, we came back, and I saw this retracement into this fair value gap right here. I didn't wait. I honestly took it a little bit too early than I wanted it to, than I originally intended to. Because what happened is price. I believe I actually took it a little bit too late. I was planning on trying to put a pending order fill right over here in this fair value gap. I missed it by like 2 seconds, and I had to manually open it down here. So what happened after that? Instantly, I knew that we were gonna go for a reversal. EMAs were super tight over here. I was like, okay, this is perfect. Take profit 1 at this resting low, boom, smacked. Take profit 2, this was a 5-minute fair value gap, boom, smacked. And my third and final take profit was at these pre-market lows at 337, boom, smacked. So what I do regret doing is actually lowering how much contracts I put in. What happened is with this first trade, I had 4 contracts in, and with that, after that, I kind of just de-risked a little bit more. So I was like, okay, I'll just put 3 just to have a little bit more, just to save some more capital. So what happened is I had 3 take profits, but if I had a 4th one, I would have made that one either move to break even or a trailing stop loss. And I'm not saying I regret it, but I definitely took a lesson from this, because look at this huge move to the downside that we had after that. My original plan was to have, with this trade, I was supposed to have a first take profit, second take profit, third take profit, and have one more runner left and move my stop loss to here if price was right here. And then from there, if it wanted to continue lower, then, I'd adjust my stop loss accordingly. So definitely messed up with that. Learned a lesson, but it's all good. I'm not mad about it. From there, we made a huge move to the downside because Like, look at this, dude. This was a fat fucking move. Like, I could have targeted Friday's lows right here. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I have some tea in front of me, so I'm drinking that. I'm a little bit sick. I can't tell if I'm really sick or if it's just like the cold temperature coming in because it's been like fucking 40 degrees out for some reason. And last week I was just wearing shorts. I don't get this. Besides the point, um, yeah, I mean, definitely could have waited on this a little bit. I really wish I originally just put my stop loss above these highs right here. But I was thinking that we're gonna come up, sweep these highs. So I wanted to keep a tighter stop loss just because I could have preserved a little bit more capital. So if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I was gonna go over the trade recaps from yesterday, um, but I just didn't feel like it. It's not that I didn't feel like it, but it's just like I didn't really like this trade. The only reason I didn't like it is because how small of this fair value gap that we had, and also my bias was completely wrong. Um, I'll just kind of, you know what, fuck it. I'll go over my recent trades because I haven't really been uploading lately. So this was Monday, this was yesterday, so we actually had Columbus Day. So I didn't want to risk any money, so I actually paper traded this. So what happened, I personally, I thought that we were just gonna bounce around and chop around, and I didn't really want to lose my trade on just chop. Like if I went in on this trade and I fucking just chopped around, maybe came down a little bit and then chopped around, I would have been pissed. So what I did is I de-risked myself, saved my capital, and I didn't put any money on the line. What happened is my original bias for the day was going to be bullish. I'm sorry, bearish. Oops, was going to be bearish. Reason being, we had these highs being taken out, all these pre-market highs being taken out, and then we were also back. If you go back maybe like a week, I don't feel like scrolling through it, but if you go back like a week, we were in a 1 hour fair value gap. So instantly from this point, I was like, okay, we're so gonna come down. What ended up happening is actually we filled a 5-minute fair value gap right here, or actually probably like a 15-minute fair value gap at this point. Yeah, this is like a 15-minute fair value gap, or even a 30-minute fair value gap. Yeah, besides the point, we respected that fair value gap and we went completely to the upside. After that, we swept even more highs. If you go back, at that point I was like, okay, great, we are 1000% gonna go down. Obviously not gonna be 1000% right, but it was just my confidence was at the point where I was like, okay, yo, we're definitely gonna come down. Waited for an impulsive move to the downside with a fair value gap, a retracement back into that fair value gap, boom, straight to the downside. Smack the fuck out of these lows right here. And then I also wanted to go over Friday's trade. Fridays I actually work, so I don't put money on the line. I usually work nights, but on Fridays I work in the mornings. So I'm at work during market open. So what I do is I just put paper trades. I don't want to risk money and not being able to manage my position. Let's just say if I'm busy at work, I can't manage my position for some reason, whatever. Reason I took this trade, there wasn't really a fair value gap to be filled. Like if you look at any time frame, there wasn't really a fair value gap. So what I looked for instead is I saw that we were in a equilibrium. So equilibriums are very, very important. Usually the way, if you don't know how equilibriums work, go figure it out because these motherfuckers are fire, bro. We had this move up to this one right here, and we made a retracement. There was no fair value gaps, like I said, but we retrace back into this volumetric imbalance and this move up, which helped us give a confluence to the upside. So waited for price to come down, smack the 50% mark. I actually ended up having the lowest wick for this trade. I took it right there, smacked it all the way to the top of this internal resting liquidity. I could have held it a little bit higher. Okay, for some reason my video paused. I think I accidentally clicked it, but besides the point, we swept. We didn't really come up on these, so that's why I want to just take a internal high. Because personally, I think having internal highs as take profits are a little bit better than external highs. Because what can happen is that we fill an order block instead of actually coming in and sweeping all of these highs right here. So yeah, and I did actually want to go over this trade as well. So this is the way it played out. I'm gonna put it exactly how I had it. Okay. So what happened with this trade? It might look like a win. However, when it comes to seeing actually what happened to this trade, it taught me a lesson, and it might teach someone else a lesson as well. So what ended up happening, I believe it was actually on this candle right here. Just like that. What ended up happening, okay, originally we swept these lows right here, boom, sweeping these internal lows as well, resting liquidity. Okay, what happened here? This might look like a winning trade. However, I fucked up by putting my stop loss to break even after first take profit. Why did I do that? I don't really know. I didn't have a confluence of why I wanted to move my stop loss to break even, and this taught me a lesson to why I shouldn't be doing this. So originally I had two take profits, one here, and then my second take profit up here. I really what happened is I hit my first take profit, and right after that I moved my stop loss to break even. So this was about $100 win. However, I could have made over $400 or $500. I can't really remember exactly how much it was. But like, this just goes to show that like, okay, you don't really need a first or second take. Like, I'm sorry, you don't need to move your stop loss to break even after you hit your first take profit, because after that, price can always bounce around, come down, do its thing, bounce around. It can fucking edge the shit out of your stop loss and then reverse and hit your take profit. That can happen all the time. So what this taught me is the only reason why I should be moving my stop loss to break even is if I have multiple take profits more than 3. So with the trade I took today, I should have had at least it's all the way back there, but I should have had at least 4 contracts or 4 take profits to then be able to, or I'm sorry, have at least 3 take profits to then be able to move my stop loss to break even for my last final contract. And this just made me lose out on so much money. I'm not really mad about it because it taught me a valuable lesson. But besides the point, after that, I was targeting this news candle. I believe it was CPI for this day right here. CPI 730 per usual. After that, I wanted to see a downside move. However, I knew that we weren't going to come all the way down here. So I waited for a retracement, an impulsive move and then a retracement per usual. We had a fair value gap right here. Price retraced back into it. Boom. Straight to the downside. I believe I only had 1 take profit on this, which was my final take profit, because of the fact that I was pretty upset with this one and it kind of messed up my psychology. So I kind of went light on this one. So I just had one contract and a 1 take profit. So besides the point, This was a 5 minute fair value gap right here, and I wanted to see price could come back into it. Sure enough, perfectly came into it. Um, so yeah, that's it for now. I believe at the end of the week I'm gonna do another YAP session, I guess you could say, or backtesting session. I believe I'll probably do it on Friday night. So if you're actually watching these videos, watch out for that. So see you guys then.